we're Fayetteville's metrics-based internet marketing consulting agency. Okay, we focus a lot on numbers. We have a great designer, a great programmer. I do the strategy, the numbers, the metrics. We measure stuff. We look at your competitors and things like that. So that's essentially what we do. But I'll go ahead and jump in. We're kind of doing I'm kind of doing a presentation a little bit backwards. We're going to start talking about why we went into business. Okay. And then we'll talk about how and what we do and how we do it. All right. So, first of all, we do believe that people should know more about internet marketing. Our goal is to make Fayetteville, North Carolina's smartest internet marketing city. Okay. And to do that, we're doing a bunch of things that really go in line with that, educating our clients and also holding classes and things like that. We also believe that people should see more of the process. One of the cornerstones of our business is transparency. It's something that you don't see much of with internet marketing, with website development. But if you so choose, we do welcome you to become part of the conversation in the development process. So that's just one of the things that we offer, that we put on the table for you. Should feel more empowered. So with all that, as a business owner, you are essentially your own CEO. So every CEO has people, consultants that come in, they give them classes, one-on-ones, things like that, and it all comes down to education. And when you educate yourselves about the details of how your business is run, how your business is marketed, that empowers you as an individual. And the third cornerstone of our business is team integration. We want you as a business to feel as though we are part of your in-house team, that we are your marketing team. All right, so here are the three cornerstones of our business: education, transparency, and team integration. They're pretty self-explanatory. If you have questions, we're happy to answer them, okay? Just because I know how to fix my car doesn't mean that I don't find it super convenient to take it to a mechanic and give him my business. And that's the spirit in which we do business, and that's how we plan on growing Fayetteville in the area of internet marketing. We make you, of course, part of the planning process. How that is related to education is that through the planning process, we prioritize for you. What should you be doing first? What should you worry about second? Just yesterday, I talked to a business downtown. She was like, I have all this information. I've had to do so much research about internet marketing. I just don't know what to do first. What's most important? And so we talked about what her goals are, and we then moved forward to saying, look, you need a ground zero for your business online, and that's your website. Let's start there, and then move forward to the other steps. So that's the kind of experience that we want to provide for people. And always, any decision that we make on behalf of your business, we are always going to justify it, run it by you, get you to sign it off, and all that. So again, that is part of that. Transparency, already explained to you. You have the option to join in on the conversation. In the development process, sharing intelligence, anything that we learned about your competitors, we're just going to put it out on the table for you. You know what you're going to get. And then we have a unique thing that some agencies might not practice, but we do believe that if we are playing any strategic purpose for your business, that we have no business working with a competitor. And so from the last day that we do that service for you, we do have a 6-month non-compete policy. So that we just feel like we just know too much about your business to be non-biased about it. So we do respect our businesses in that way. And team integration, it just really comes down to feeling as though you do have that in-house team, marketing team. We visit you on site. We do some of our work on site. At your location, if you allow us to, if you want us to, okay? It's not a requirement, but we do want you to feel that we are working for you and we're putting in the hours that you're paying us to put in for you, okay? All right, so what do we do? Essentially, we do a lot of the stuff that most agencies do. Everything from website development, we do a lot of focus on the user experience, user interface, which is how people navigate through your website. We do actual SEO, so meaning we actually take a look at your direct online competitors, see what keywords they're ranking for, how strong they're ranking for them. We find opportunities. I literally go through between 300 and 1,000 keywords for every client that we do SEO work. And we vet those keywords to the point where we know exactly what we're going to target, how we're going to target it, and that's how we create your website, your sitemap for you, okay? So we do find opportunities that your competitors have missed out on. Let's give you just a quick example about what that means. Let's say you're a balloon business, and all your competitors are just competing, both on AdWords and as well as the SEO side. With the word balloons in Fayetteville, North Carolina, balloons in Fayetteville, all this. Well, what if there is a strong market for turquoise balloons? There's a lot of people looking for turquoise balloons. And, while people are looking for, balloons in Fayetteville over 1,000 times in Fayetteville area, surrounding towns, turquoise balloons is getting maybe 250 searches every month. That's a huge opportunity, and nobody else is competing for that. So that's what we call little niche strategic keywords. Okay, so that's the level of research that we do for you. Where was I? Okay, yeah, we were just talking about that. Intelligence and responsive. So responsive, what I mean by that is not so much having a mobile version of your website, but also our responsiveness to you and your goals. Okay, everything goes back to your goals. The first thing I talk about that I ask you is, what are your challenges? What are your goals? What are your problems that you're having right now breaking through to the market that you want to break through to? And that's the first thing that we're going to talk about in your proposal when we finally hand it in to you. Okay, I'm going to spit it right back at you and say, this is what you told me your problems are. This is the solution that we have for you. Okay, all right. Asset management, when we talk about online assets, we're talking about social media, directories, which are a huge new thing now this year. And we're also talking about your website itself. CRO is conversion rate optimization, and what that means is we'll keep an eye on your website for several months and make sure that people are actually engaging with it. They're clicking on things, that they are using your website and converting. If we, for example, have that balloon website, they land on turquoise balloons, and suddenly we see an 80% fallout from there. People not going beyond that page, like 80% of the time. There must be something with that page. It could be the copyright, it could be the copy, it could be the design, it could be the calls to action. We kind of start testing out different options for that. And that's what conversion rate optimization is. Directories, we do offer a management of online directories, at least 65 to 70 directories online. That this year has become super important for your SEO on your website. Social media, needless to say, it's time consuming, a little annoying for some people. So just know that that's another thing that we do. Marketing plans. This is a very special thing that not many people have taken advantage of, but our marketing plans are customized to either something that we can build for you, that's your intention to have us implement your marketing plan online, or customize something based on your resources and your skill sets, something that you can implement yourself. So you tell me, what can you do, what can you afford to do, and I'm going to build that marketing plan for you. That way you can do that for yourself, okay? All right, at the end of the day, the team that we have does have a 360-degree solution for you, okay? And what that, Kristen is our design person. She manages the projects. She keeps everybody kind of on task with that. I was about to say our nerd, Travis. Travis is our programmer. He designed programmed his first website when he was 12 years old. I love sharing that, but he's been doing it for a very long time. And then I, of course, do the research and strategy. So at the end of the day, all this, we really kind of just want to turn into this for you. You tell us your goals, you watch the process develop, and then you just focus on your customer. All right, so about our business a little bit as far as how it's structured. These are our focuses over here. The bulk of our business right now is based on website development, the digital asset followed by digital asset management, and then standalone strategic work, those plans, research, reporting, which by the way is another standalone service. We do generate monthly reports for you, for your website, for your social media, online directories, okay? And then maintenance work is that hourly labor for any updates on the websites and all that. Right now, this is kind of what our marketing looks like for our own agency. We've been fortunate enough to have a great network of supportive businesses, friends that have given us their business and trust. And so we've kind of been rolling with that for the past couple of months since we've been in business. And but this is, if you notice, this is kind of a funnel. This is something that I've kind of used as an educational tool. I call it the VFA funnel: visibility, findability, and accessibility. All right. For us, what it looks like, we're on social media, doing some podcasts on Facebook, doing some paid ads and community classes. There's not much that's expected at the top of the funnel for those of you who are familiar with the funnel. This is mostly right now just us trying to establish ourselves in people's line of vision. Findability, websites, directories, networking. If people are looking for us, this is how they can find us. Through Fayetteville Young Professionals, through here, and also online. Accessibility, email, phone, social media messaging. These are the ways that people can get in contact with us. They also know how to find us at our location in downtown Fayetteville. And accessibility, by the way, is just making it easy for people to convert, essentially. All right. Strategic focus for us right now to build the brand voice and awareness. Again, like I was talking about, top of funnel. Maintain visibility. Gather competitor intelligence. Right now, we're just learning more and more about our competitors as we move along. We are exploring underserved industries. Just people get neglected, essentially, and it's a huge opportunity for us. It's also a huge opportunity for them because if they're being neglected, chances are their competitors are being neglected as far as internet marketing. So just great opportunity for everybody there. And then we are going to excel. I forgot to spell check that, but excel where competitors are struggling. All right. Our team, what it looks like right now, we have a programmer, we have a designer, and we have a strategist. In the next 12 months, there's a possibility that we may need an additional programmer. And what's going to happen here, we have programmer Travis right now, who is doing all the development, all the coding, anything that needs coding, things like that. A second programmer will come in, and what they'll be doing is basic development, just like he is, but also doing all the maintenance for our current clients, people that have already had us do their websites. Web designer will continue to do project management, website design, graphic design. Strategist, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. We'll be adding on an asset manager, social media manager, and someone who will work on those directories for us. All right, so the future, this is just a projection based on just our numbers. Okay, so it's a very general thing. We feel just based on the nature of the business that this is something that's realistic for us. If we continue to do what we're doing and building our clientele, especially the retainers, getting people on board for us to provide their monthly services. All right, so growth requirements, high-end packages is going to be a big focus for us to help us grow those websites, those monthly installments. So we'll sell you, the website, and that website will require a maintenance, if you so desire, a maintenance service each month, as well as the reporting, as well as everything else. But that's really going to be our number one focus for at least the next few months. Pardon me, and also adding on any asset management services that people will possibly need. So that'll be a big one for us. Additional revenue streams, creating additional revenue streams, and it's something that I find to be a lot of fun. I've found just by talking to people that there's certain industries that may be suffering right now for one reason or another. It might have to do with marketing, it might have to do with public relations, but we find little opportunities like that through that, offering classes, and then eventually, this is something that we just don't have the resources right now to focus on, but any royalties coming from media that we create, that we provide for people. So. And then making sure that we are continuing to work efficiently as a team is going to be a big thing, that we can get to more of this. And then temporary projects such as event coverage on social media in-house media production, and paid advertisements, which is something that we're not doing just yet. All right. So at the end of the day, it's just creating a brand around people and just maintaining that consistency. Essentially what that's going to do is turn us, a metrics-based internet marketing company, into a people-based internet marketing company. Thank you. Questions?
So you never mentioned cost, Antonio. What is the cost for?
We have a price list that we work off of. Now, every business is going to be very different, okay? And it's not really on a rolling scale depending on the business, but just depending on the amount of work that we actually have to do, how detailed the work is. So what we have found that is effective for us is, okay, this is our set price, our typical price for what you're asking for. If you can't do 6 months of installments, how about 12? Or how about this? And what that allows them to do is not only extend those payments and make them smaller, but also we in the meantime, what we're doing, we're also keeping an eye on the analytics of the websites. We're keeping an eye on a lot of things. We might not report that to you because that might not be something that you're paying for, but we're keeping an eye on it, and we will call you to see, to let you know if something is suffering or something is coming short. So cost is, if you saw our pricing list, it's really it's a very complex thing, but it is very specific, and it is the same across the board for any business. Okay? If you're looking for a number, I mean, our websites start at 35 right now, 3,500. Okay.
Yeah, per month?
Oh goodness, no. No, 3,500. Yeah, it's a very straightforward website with the SEO built into it. So we are going to provide that CRO, that conversion rate optimization and things like that for a very standard website for your business. Okay, so, and that includes also the SEO. So it's a starting package throws in SEO. There's very few customers that we've had that have said, we don't want the SEO, and that's really kind of how we want it, and because our portfolio is made up of websites that are beautiful, but is also functional, that work while you're sleeping, and so that's what we want to build our portfolios on. Yes, sir.
Do you encounter small growing companies that rely on, let's say, a Facebook page as the website, and I mean, you guys are the experts in this area. Is that ideal? Is it acceptable? Is it something you try to grow them out of?
It is so funny you say that,
Yeah.
because you're looking at a company that's doing that right now. We are 3 months into our business, and believe it or not, we are waiting for our website. Not waiting, but we're working on our website. Should be up in the next 7 days. But we've been so busy with our own clients that we just haven't had time. And so we kind of turned that into an opportunity. If someone wishes to keep it that way, yeah, there's strategies that you can use to do that. At the very least, however, I would say invest your time and a little bit of resources to establishing a domain at least. A 1 or 2 pager, for us, that's like $250 if you want us to do that for you. But what that does is starts giving that domain, that www.whatever.com, some history, some longevity, and start building that history, that timeline for it. That way, in the future, if you decide to get a website, a true website, it's gonna start off a lot stronger. It's gonna take off on a running start. Okay, but there are strategies where you can just implement that social medias. Facebook can be just your home base for the time being, and then of course I would implement a couple others at least. Okay, but absolutely. Yeah.
Question.
Yes, sir.
So because this market is like so saturated, right? You have Fiverr, you have a whole bunch of freelance growing markets of people. I'll just build your website in India for like $800.
Yeah.
So what do you guys really define as your onlyness statement, right? So when someone comes to your particular agency, this is our onlyness statement. This is the thing that makes us unique, and that's really driving all the pieces.
Yeah, great question, and it really comes down to the three cornerstones of our brand, and that education, that transparency, that team integration. You know, yeah, you might be able to pay $300 for a website, you know, from someone in India,
Right.
but at the same time, you're not getting the value of having someone that's going to visit you every now and then at your business, get to know your business, be able to understand your brand. Brand is not, to us, is not really something that's colors and shapes and a logo. It's really about how people feel about your business, about you, when you're not in the room, okay? So, you know, you got that team integration factor, the transparency, which even in America is hardly seen. You know, people don't want you in their business. So we love for you guys to watch the process, to see how involved it is, and see the conversations that go on. It is complex. When you get Travis, Kristen, and I in a room talking about one challenge, one problem that we're having, one hurdle, you're going to hear three different perspectives, and we're going to get to a solution for you. Okay. And then the education factor. Again, we are aiming to make Fayetteville the smartest internet marketing town in North Carolina, and that starts with offering our knowledge and putting it on the table. How many people know the parts of their car? How many people know how to fix or change the oil on their cars? I'd rather be typing away at something than changing my own oil, you know, even though I know how to do it. So that's the feeling that we want you guys to take with you about our brand, about OutStage Solutions. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, gee, didn't get her. I'll get you next. Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
So if you're a home-based small business, 1-2 people, and you've already done the work of getting your website up, and now I want it to really optimize that site.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a feeling that you would take someone that I built
Yeah.
and say, this is how to make it better. I didn't hear that. I heard, let us
Okay.
build it for you. Do you do that type of?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do have a price plan for that, and it's either $149 or $199 per page. And the thing you have to know, taking a website that's already built and updating it sometimes is more work than just building one altogether all over again. Okay, but it is something that is priced with us and that we can do for you, taking what you created and adding a little more to it graphically, and definitely the SEO, search engine optimization, is something that we can not even change the design and actually fix. Okay, so we can definitely do that.
And also sometimes, you know, as he mentioned earlier, the page might not be converting because there's not a call to action, or, you know, the copy is kind of throwing people off, making them not feel like they came to the right place. And so we can definitely work with that as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
As
Yeah.
he mentioned, you know, our biggest thing is going in, kind of seeing where your business is, where your goals are, where you want to be, and then coming up with a solution that can help you get there.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
So it's kind of a two-part question. I hear all of this that you presented today, and I know each business perhaps would be a little bit different, but I'm all about the end result, the bottom line.
Right.
So I've put all this money into your company to help essentially mine.
Mhm.
One, is there a way to track the results? Like, do you have a way to figure out, is this working? What we did here, did it work for you? And then number two, how fast can you actually gather those results? Because I know if I have my own business, I'm going to say, okay, the clock is ticking. When is this going to work? I need to see, I need to see the result. That's just the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
So do you have a way to do that, or a strategy to do that in the future?
Yeah, it actually is something that, I mean, that's really what we're putting on the table, like, for people, numbers,
That's the
metrics.
reporting.
That's our reporting, okay? And like I said, there's three main things that we report on. It's your analytics on your website, how it's performing, the online directories. I can get information even how many times people are calling your business throughout the week.
Right.
Okay, so and then we're also what I missed? Oh, social media, social media reporting, engagement reports and views and conversions on social media through Facebook, things like that. So yeah, everything is reportable, and that for someone like you, this is ideal
Right.
for you.
Right.
Now there is let's talk about analytics for example, okay? And SEO. So SEO, as most of you probably already know, is kind of a time-demanding thing. Not just on executing it, but also the waiting game, okay? And what I tell people, give it 3 to 6 months to start seeing some flow, some results from that. Once we start seeing that traffic, what are they doing when they get to your website? There's a lot of questions that you can ask from that. And with the reports that we do provide for you, if that's a service that you're getting from us, there is an analysis that comes with each one, saying, all right, this is what's going on, this is probably what it means and what we think we can do for it to fix it or to improve it, and that kind of thing. Now, with there's another point I need to make about SEO. I can't remember it right now. And that's kind of that kind of leads people a lot of times, and I'll just put this on the table even though nobody asked, but about being accountable for results. Okay. Now with SEO, because it's such an organic thing, I see it as organic. I mean, the algorithms involved just make it seem like it's just something that's alive, and so with that being the way it is, it's hard to predict sometimes. So what we do, if a customer says, I want 300 conversions, 300 paying customers per month eventually, I'll look at that, at their goal, at their intentions, at what they want, and look at their competitors, look at their current traffic on their website, look at the SEO, the keyword performances, search volumes, and things like that, and say, look, I don't think we can hit 300, at least not in the next 6 months, but maybe 200. Let's aim for that. If at that point, maybe they hit 195, or maybe they hit 215 conversions from the website, if they feel, and this is something we always tell people, if you feel like it's just not enough, let's be business people, let's talk, let's negotiate what's going to happen moving forward, what you feel would be a resolution, something that would be fair to you. There's nothing hard line about that, but it is something that should be expected from a business that's providing what we do. So it has to be on a case by case. I hope that's a good enough answer.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, that's great, thanks.
Well, Antonio.
Yes.
Let me go first.
Yes, sir. Go.
Do you use other sources in compiling your analytic results, such as Google Plus or Radian 6 or some other services that are already doing that type of thing?
Correct. So we go from Google Analytics. We also utilize two other tools. One of them is it's called Moz. Okay, and that's super in depth. In fact, it even gives us some good ideas as far as the strategy versus the competitors that we've identified for you. And then we do utilize another less known tool called Ahrefs that actually will monitor your brand, monitor your website, how many keywords are being ranked on your site, things like that. And then just so much more, both of them just put together. So essentially, the word around our industry is really that tools like that are actually better than Google Analytics, and a lot more specific. So what we do, we first look at Google Analytics and Google AdWords. That's another tool that we use for SEO. And then we look at Moz, compare the numbers. Okay, they're pretty close, or not close at all. I'm going to believe Moz. We look at Ahrefs, and they'll and just put that information together and just put together a hypothesis for what we think is going on. So yeah, that's pretty much how we work. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tony, I was going to say, based upon your the 3 cornerstones you mentioned,
Yeah.
right, and her question was really related to my secondary question about target marketing deliverables and also your revenue streams, right? Because your goal is to get recurring revenue.
Correct.
So I guess the piece that I think sounds unique in what you described with the 3 cornerstones is the idea of the educational piece. And also in having that kind of goal, right? Because that's the Simon Sinek, the why, right, is what drives people. But then, the piece about the milestones, right? Where are you trying to get to? And I think that perhaps maybe there's an opportunity where, let's say, right, someone's pricing out a $3,500 website, right? And we recognize this is the maintenance fee that's going to come with that month to month. So if we take that amortization, which is the approach that the bank takes, right? Which is, okay, we're gonna break this up over a year-long contract. You're gonna pay every month, and what we're saying is, okay, in 6 months, this is our milestone. So first milestone is deliver the website. Second milestone is we start monitoring, and they're paying, right, for the website, they're paying for the monitoring, they're paying for the support, because the concept of agile approach is gonna be important to what you just described, right? If you build a website, you don't know if it's gonna convert until you put it out there. Then it takes time to do the A/B testing. Let's try a blue button versus a red button, or whatever. And then after you get into that, then you gotta come back and make the changes.
Right.
Right. So I'm thinking that with the educational piece being a unique piece, because I think that is unique to your agency. And on the secondary level, if your goal is to get that recurring monthly, constant revenue stream, I see an opportunity there in saying, well, why charge people the full price up front? Just tell them this is the total project price, and after we assess your goals, we're gonna help you reach these goals, and then here's the full package, right? So you're basically gonna pay, let's say, $6,000 by the end of the year,
Right.
but it's $500 a month, right? And I'm building your website, but I may deliver the website by month 3, but you only pay $1,500. Follow what I'm saying?
Lost you in that last part.
Okay, so you said that a standard website is $3,500, right?
Correct.
We can break that up over 6 months, or we can break it up over 12 months. But the other piece that you just described, right, to my friend, is that the deliverables is key, right? Because you don't want to have the conversation of all we do is build your website, right?
Correct.
Because the people are like,
Yeah.
okay, so you built my website, but I ain't getting conversions.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
can pay for the CRO, right? Then it looks like you're nickel and diming, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, all right, well, pay for the website, okay, but you want CRO, we can do this too. If you include it,
Yeah.
it looks like a complete value proposition that says, I'm gonna help you reach these kind of milestones.
Right.
Based on your search, right, and your tools, you may say, 300 is ambitious, 200 is possible, 150 is, we can reach that. So then when you tell the client is, the first milestone is deliver the website. Second milestone, let's say you break those milestones over month-to-month models. Then you say, okay, by month 5, we should be at 60 conversions. We're tracking that, we're looking where we're getting it. That gives you the ability to be agile and have predictable revenue at the same time.
Gotcha.
So you get 10 people to pay you, $500 a month just to do agile reactions. Oh yeah, we're only here with this company, we're delivering their website, we're doing this. I feel like that can get you to that attempted revenue stream rather than, because it seems like with your target market, you're not looking at, big agencies that are looking for a huge overhaul.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that's your target market. And
Right.
if it's not, then I think growing with the community with that goal of making Fayetteville the most internet marketing educated place, you want to grow with businesses so that you're just accumulating contracts. And then that gives you the opportunity to develop your case study and then your evidence to what you say, right? Look, we helped this client reach 300 conversions. She wanted 200, but we did 3. Right?
Yeah.
Then you can close a $10,000 website easily because you have the numbers to back that up.
Back it up. Correct.
And I'm not gonna pay $5,000 now, $5,000 later, and
Yeah.
then be sorry, right? And say,
Right.
well, I want this change and this change and this change.
Yeah.
Well, you only get 2 iterations.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've built apps and other things like that, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm thinking that could maybe help you with the consistent revenue.
No, it is. Yeah.
So my question to throw back at you is, because it kind of sounds, I know he didn't explain exactly how we do pricing, because really we do it on a case-by-case basis based on what we see. But
Right.
we don't necessarily sit there and say, okay, well, it's gonna be $3,500 for the website, it's gonna be this much for this much for this. We kind of say, okay, these are all the things that you've told me that you need. This is what we put together, and then the pricing guide is really for our benefit, so that we're all kind of on the same page
Okay.
as a conversation. But so that was what my question was going to be to you. You're talking more shaping the conversation with the client rather than the pricing scale, right?
Well, a little bit of both, because one of your core tenets is transparency, right? So in transparency, if I tell you, this is how much it should cost you, right? But this is what we're gonna do, right? That brings transparency to say, okay, we're gonna work with you because our goal is this.
Right.
We want you to be educated on internet marketing, and we want to be your advisors. So with that model, it allows you internally, like you said, I understand that internally we know it costs us this much. That's business. But I am focusing on the customer conversation in a way that makes the customer feel like I'm getting continual ongoing value, and it gives you the agility to not be like, well, you paid $5,000
Right.
and now it's sour grapes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like the website, or it's not really doing what I'm thinking, or I came home and my wife was like, this looks terrible. I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
right?
no, it does. I've been doing this a while.
Right, so in the agility, with the agility model, it gives you the opportunity to constantly like scope, iterate, put it out. All right, we can rescope again, iterate, put out, but you're not going back and saying we need more money.
Right.
Right.
It's assumed that we're getting to that number and we're just milestoning that.
Correct, and we're actually very clear about, those expectations. If you're on a 6-month payment plan, on that particular package, you have that CRO, you have those adjustments, because we're not just looking at the reports and, analyzing, but we're also making adjustments in that time at no additional cost to you, okay? If there's a change in the content, we go back to the customer and have them approve it. If it's a wording change, that kind of thing. But if it's moving a call to action around, that's automatic. We're gonna try some things out, okay? Now, the way our price list works, it is very flexible, and that $3,500 does include that SEO package. We can easily remove that, and it becomes another price. And so, it is built that way. It's also built for the long run, because that CRO, people's behaviors change. The more times they visit your website, or as trends tend to change, design trends and things like that. So, that's an ongoing service for us as well. There's a bunch of things that you can actually add on to gain more and more value. So I think that agility factor that you're talking about is kind of alluding to that, if I'm in understanding a little bit. Just providing flexibility and options so that people know what they're paying for, and know what our goals are for them, or what their goals are, what our actions are going to be towards their goals. So, yeah, I hope that it kind of...
no, I'm just...
I hope I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
That gives you the space.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I'm just thinking, in this space, right? If I give you a $3,500 check, and someone tells you get 5 changes, iterations,
Yeah,
right?
no, don't do that.
Right, exactly. Right? So but you have the other problem is, if you start scaling a lot of customers, and 10 customers are like, we want all these changes, right? That's the problem with development. Is they come back and they're like, nah, I don't even like this whole part of the website. But
So-
we approved that. Well, you did approve it then, but now you're not approving it now. So you have to have that difficult conversation of, well, you get these changes, and if it's this kind of a change, it's gonna be an added fee.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, exactly. And they're, in that development process, at the very end, they have one whole week to look at their website and say, look, we want these changes made. My wife said this, my kids threw up on it, like whatever it is. sorry. But and within that week, from that point on, we're doing automatic adjustments to improve that CRO. And if you need any updates at that point, there is an hourly rate that we have. So that's how that's built in. So I mean, if I were designing that price list myself, I would have missed a lot of that. But 3 brains have just been able to come up with a response to that. And yeah, you're right on, man, because it does give people a little more power and a few more options to work with us. And again, going back to that team integration and relationship building, that conversation down the line becomes less awkward, because we have a rapport. We expect you to talk to us like you're our boss. And that's it, man. And I'm going to tell you and justify things if needed, or tell you, yeah, you're right. We'll fix that. So, yes, ma'am. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem.
So the website is only part of my marketing strategy. I still have to contend with where my market is online, which is with Facebook or LinkedIn, which is the monster under my bed, because I never can figure out the proper mix for Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads, and it just seems like you can never find someone to be able to help you put that together. So if I have a website, that's just one part. I still need to know how am I driving traffic to that, you know, and is Facebook, an integration of Facebook or LinkedIn or those networks, social media networks, part of the plan that you're gonna help me implement so that I know where I'm spending my money to get the conversions. If I'm running an event
Yeah.
from one month to the next, I do wanna know if those pages are converting to sales,
Mhm.
right? So
Absolutely.
that's what I'm looking for, is someone who's gonna be able to understand my business, where I need to find my market, the things that I wanna drive them to say, Kim, this month you're gonna need to do this.
Yeah.
And you need to start doing that here so that we can track what's happening. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
So-
absolutely.
As a small business, that's what my monster under the bed is. How do I integrate all this stuff?
Yeah,
in
no,
one
absolutely.
place?
It's a really good question. I'm glad that you're conscious of that, because sourcing of traffic is a super important thing, and not something that you can do through Google Analytics just by itself a lot of times. But there are sources out there. Number one, to find where your traffic is coming from. Number two, you have to pay attention to what the content is on your page. Offer things that are useful for people. You've heard of just content creation and inbound marketing, things like that. Things that you can share on Facebook, LinkedIn, and that people will click on to go to your site, read, oh, what does she do? Click, oh, and they start exploring a little bit. Now you're in their head. The thing, and it's funny. I sound like a scratch record, but it really all goes back to the website, because that website is the fuel, but it's also your home page. It's your home base for your business. You're directly from your mouth to their eyes, ears. Okay, but whatever you put on there has to be shareable. It has to be something that people can engage with and things like that. And then measuring that, there's various resources online that you can use to source your traffic. Google Analytics. Did you implement that into your website already? Okay, so you know how people are behaving on your website. And then definitely keep testing, you know, and looking up also good methods, good lines, good things to put in as the headliner on your ads or on your posts, things that will get people's attention a little bit and incline them to take a longer look at that little thing as they're scrolling down their feed on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't
you
have
know?
time for that.
Yeah.
I don't wanna do that.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna jump in. So yes, to answer your question a little bit more succinctly, yes, we can help with that. Again, it's the same as a web page. It could be that your copy, you know, you're not asking a question, you're not asking for engagement. You know, it's amazing how many people are more likely to like a post that says, hey, like this post. You know, things like that we can help you with. We can also do, you know, that A/B testing with a Facebook ad, run 2 versions of the same ad, and then we can track what the analytics are showing. Well, this ad did really, really well, and this one didn't, so let's drop that one off and focus on this one. Maybe even split that again further and make some tweaks. And then as far as creating landing pages on your website, let's say you do have an event, we can create a full page that's just dedicated to that event, all about conversions. We can track where people are linking from using different metrics, and kind of say, you know, well, Facebook really wasn't great for this event, but everybody on LinkedIn was converting over, so maybe we need to focus a little bit more on that for the next kind of event like this. So yeah, there's a lot of different things we can help with that.
Understanding target market is really a starting point for everything.
Absolutely.
Because it's in design, or it's in implementation, it's in going from one event to another, you have different target markets.
Absolutely.
When you understand the target market, then you can begin to make those changes.
Right. And that's part of that whole process where we sit and we talk with you and we figure out who your target market is for your overall business and that conversation, that continued conversation. Because like you said, your target market for one event or one aspect of your business might be totally different than your target market for this other aspect. So kind of being cognizant of that is really important too.
So Antonia, what can the community do for you and your business?
I forgot you guys asked that question. You guys are doing so much for us already with these questions, because you're really getting our wheels turning. But you know, I really feel like we could use some mentorship a little bit. You know, I think that's the best thing. Your notes, if we at all get them, I mean, would be a huge help for us.
And we will provide those for you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
What do you
that's great.
What do you think?
Yeah, just continue to support any, people that you know that might need our help. Kind of those connections are really important, because so many times there are businesses out there that are struggling and they don't even know what they're struggling with. They just know the stuff I'm doing on Facebook isn't working, or I've got a website but I'm not getting any phone calls. They might not know who is the best person to talk to, or they might not know what to look up or find, or they might not realize, hey, we can help you with just your Facebook ads if you need, if that's one thing. So yeah, any connections like that would be great too.
All right, well, thank you, Antonio.
Thank you so much.